Tell me about your vision.
My vision is a world where every person can afford a good night's sleep.
Wow, that's very simple. I know I can benefit from a good night of sleep. Tell me more about that.
Okay, well, look, sleep is the soil from which everything grows. So, in the special forces, we didn't know anything about sleep, but we knew if we denied the enemy sleep for 3 nights, it would mess them up better than a bullet. Okay, so if you want to destroy somebody, you destroy their sleep. If you really care about somebody, if you want to build them up, you care about their sleep. And my vision, Harry, is imagine the governments of this world, and a measure of their effectiveness is measured against the quality of the sleep of the people they govern. Just get your head around that for a second, because even if you're doing it for money alone, and this is what I tell employers, if you've got a sleep poor employee, they take double the amount of sick days. There's absenteeism, but then there's presenteeism. If you're sleep poor, you're 30-40% less productive. And here's the kicker, and this is where I started this work. I came through PTSD post service myself, and I started working with veterans, and I noticed that if I improved their sleep, everything improved. And it shows now that sleep poor people have 200 to 300% higher likelihood of mental illness. And that just blew my mind. Like the data is in. This is a thing, right? So for something as simple as sleep, yes, it's a simple thing, but the impacts are, it's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of studies that I've also actually seen through, where the gist was, you break your body throughout the day, and then sleep. It's when you recover your body, and then you energize your body. Uh, if I go 2 days without sleeping properly,
Mm.
even one day, I can. I'm just dead. I can't function. I don't have the right mental um, aptitude to do anything. I can't drive. I can't perform. I can't speak properly. You're not coherent. So totally agree with you. I think sleep is the basis of a lot of different things. There's a reason people who work nights is called the graveyard shift because you're slowly
Mhm.
dying.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, a massive increase in preventable diseases, chronic injuries, um, with people that are doing night shift because you've broken the natural circadian rhythm. Um, and I think 100,000 crashes a year in the States are related to uh, feeling tired. So you might get breathalyzed for alcohol, but no one's testing for sleep.
Yep.
Okay, so I think they worked out for a person earning 60 grand a year, that a sleep poor person costs their employer and the economy between $5,000 and $12,000 a year, because
Wow.
workplace accidents goes up, chronic injuries go up, as I mentioned before, twice as many sick days, underperforming. So if you take that in reverse, if you improve people's sleep, then everything improves. It's easier said than done, but my background being in the veteran space, the good thing about that was, if something didn't work, they would let you know straight away in no uncertain terms, in very clear language. All right. So having cracked the sleep code in that space, it's those tools that I'm now, bringing into the world and making accessible um, to people. And that's the thing. A lot of people talk about sleep, Harry, but people who are tired or already doing enough, they want to say, look, here's what I want. Take care of it for me. They can't, it's really hard to do more. And especially as you go into sleep, you're sort of in this sort of autopilot. So people really need to know it's not the amount of resources that you pour in, it's how they're applied. How can you meet people where they are? Because these people are tired, they can't take it anymore. You can give them 1,000 hacks, but they're not going to do it. You literally need to meet them where they are and if you're doing it right and they're sleeping better, it'll be a case of, oh, that felt good, I'll have more, please. Oh, that felt good, I'll have more.
Wow, that's awesome. I think you're right. One of the main issues is the psychological issue when it comes to people changing any habit, let alone um, an act that they do, is because psychologically they're not fixing what's causing all those things to go on autopilot. Um, so, what would you say, Tim? Like, why did you start into all this, and specifically sleep? Why did you choose sleep, and why did you go on this path, and how did all this started? I'm very curious to know about this.
Well, Harry, it's not something I ever pictured myself doing. But I'm dyslexic. I see things in patterns, and if something is working, I don't have to understand it. I'm like, let's do more of that. So uh, I had this goal of saving 40 veteran lives from suicide, because that's how many we'd lost, how many lives we'd lost in Afghanistan to bombs and bullets. But we'd lost, 30 to 40 times that amount to suicide. So I'm like, I will die happy if I can attain, 40 veteran lives saved. But that happened within a year because the programs I set up, one of the effectiveness measurements was how much it improved sleep. And I'm not a sleep guy, but I'm like, this is working. I'm like, I can't, it just is, right? And then, all the data comes out about how it's 2 to 300% worse when you're not sleeping. Well, it's 2 to 3 at least better when you are sleeping. So, so once I discovered it, and I discovered that people talk about sleep, but there's not a lot of people activating it. So if you need to get into sleep mode, you need to understand about what's called the PNS, the parasympathetic nervous system. So when you're really work focused, getting the job done, you've got a vision of what you want, you're applying yourself, you're hitting the gas in the car, right? You're accelerating. That's your sympathetic nervous system. Power up, push forward. And our world tends to really encourage people to do that. In fact, they also encourage poor sleeping habits. Look at that guy. He's powering on. He's only had 4 hours sleep. Okay. So, what they certainly didn't teach us in the military, and they don't have available to people with any ease of accessibility, is how to hit the brake, how to slow down, how to not give a stuff about anything in your day and get back underneath your own skin. Because what people don't know is often when you're driving hard, and this is amplified when you're in fight or flight. If you're in fight or flight and you're looking for threat, you're so focused on the threat outside of you, Harry, that you've actually lost connection from your own body. You're connected out there, but you're disconnected here. So parasympathetic gets you back in your body, and our bodies are wondrously made. Once you're actually connected back into it, it can self-regulate, it can self-heal, it can self-regenerate. But if you're always focused out there and you're never actually connected to your own body, to me, that's a mental health problem, is actually a physical disconnect problem, if I'm being completely honest. It's the disconnect from your own self. You don't see your own value. You don't know how to enhance it. You're just chasing the value that's outside of you. So seeing this, and I discovered, and I'm a guy that I made the mistake of telling a doctor, and I'm not the only one here. I told a doctor I couldn't sleep. I lost 6 years of my life to pills. And Harry, I'm not getting that time back, you know? And so as God is my witness, I don't want anyone else to go into that space and not know there are other ways to access that deep state of reconnection.
Wow, you're on point here. Most people, I don't think they realize that when they go to doctors, the doctors is most cases is there to treat your symptoms. It's not really to heal you or go for the cause that's causing you on whatever you're dealing with. So choosing the right doctor for yourself, and at the same time, uh, taking that to minimize your symptoms and focusing on healing your body at the same time. I think they go hand in hand. And And we do a lot of things here with insurances and everything, and almost nothing here. And that's what just people don't get healed. It just get patched up and next, patched up, then next.
You said a mouthful there, Harry, and people can travel their whole lives and not know the options that are available to them inside their own skin. And this highlights a bit of a thing. Consider the possibility there is a whole economy based on you being sick.
Yes.
There's a whole economy based on you not knowing your own sovereign power. And this is what gets me excited. It's not so much the breath work. I mean, that's my thing, right? It's people discovering their own sovereign power, knowing that they've got value inside of them and they can increase that. Now,
Yes.
once people start realizing that, there's no going back. Once their eyes are open, there's no closing them again. And that's, yeah, to me that is the most exciting part of this journey. Is if you look at, sleep is the soil from which everything grows. Everybody, you, me, everybody have seeds of greatness, seeds of uniqueness inside of us, and they're just
Yeah.
laying dormant, waiting for the right energetic state for them to flourish.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to have something flourishing when when you're in a very fatigued, poor energetic state. But if you're getting good sleep, that has an accumulation effect. You don't just start feeling good and having more energy. All those seeds of greatness, seeds of uniqueness start to flourish. They cannot not flourish because we're built for it.
Yeah. Tim, what would you say that um what are some of the symptoms that people can notice of not having a good sleep and or versus having a good sleep so that they know what exactly they're looking for?
Okay. So there are, I'd say, three main ones. Firstly, if you really want to get quick feedback, ask the people that know you. Okay. They will tell you if you are acting cranky, overreactive, reactionary, a lack of understanding. Because when you're fatigued, you are it's all about you, really. I'm tired. I've got to have shut up until I have a coffee. All right. So other people, if you're willing to listen, but the thing is, when you're tired and cranky, you're not willing to listen. So often that falls on mute ears. But an easy one. The second one is how you feel when you're getting out of bed. Like if you, because, and I can speak from personal experience. I owned a coffee shop. I had to get up at 2:30 every morning, and I felt like absolute, like lower than death, like wanting to puke but can't. And I just had to write off the first 2 hours of my day, feeling like I I think death would be a better option right now. And so, and it was from that low point. And I took all sorts of external substances, energy, coffee, rah, rah, rah. But if I was denying my body its own ability to naturally um, self regenerate when I was depending on an external source. So how you get out of bed often determines how well you slept the night before. So that's another indicator. The other one is, and it's quite obvious, but if you're thinking, oh, it's okay, time for sleep, and you're dreading getting in that bed because you've associated so many negative experiences, and so you're sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if you're struggling in that space in your bed, then when you get in there, guess what? I've told myself I'm going to feel like crud, and I used to tell myself, yes, I'm going to feel like crud. I'm going to wake up feeling like crud. And what do you think happened? No, I created this loop.
Mystery to me.
Yeah, I'm right. I told you I was going to be right.
That's a wow. That's
But
the
if
wow.
I was
That's
to flip that,
yeah.
sorry, and you because you did ask the symptoms of. And also, by the way, sleep poor people eat probably 2-3 times more than they actually need. So you eat a lot more. And if you don't believe your family members that you're cranky, notice your reactions in traffic. If you're more reactionary in traffic, that's always a good sign of your level of energy. So if I was to flip that, quality sleep, you eat less, you got more energy, you got more options. And the way I sort of see it is energy is like money. How you invest it is how you get it back. And my vision for everyone I interact with is I want them to be an energetic millionaire, because life occurs very differently if you're at $1 million and you know you can make $1 million tomorrow. So if anyone takes from you, it's okay, I can make $1 million tomorrow. Because I've been that guy, Harry, where I've been energy poor. I've only had 50 cents worth of energy. You know, somebody does something to me that annoys me, they take 25 cents worth of energy. But when I'm only at 50 cents, that's massive. So I've got to get that back. That was wrong. I am right. And I chased that for years, forgetting the fact that I could make $1 million tomorrow. so this is where quality sleep enables you to live like an energetic millionaire. And like I said, life occurs very differently when you're in that abundant state. You can get out ahead of things. Everyone's still got problems, but when you're seeing it from a higher perspective, you see it coming along much further away than when it's up in your face and you've got to react to it, if you know what I mean. And then when it's always appearing in my face, I'm always sort of so worried about what's coming in that I've been taken out of my own vision, my own game. Serving at my highest level is impacted when I'm not just sleep poor, but reactionary.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.